In a world where every word is scrutinized and every gesture analyzed, imagine for a moment standing in a quiet room away from the clamor of everyday life, where the only sound is the steady beat of your heart. You begin to pray, not as a ritual or a performance, but as a raw and honest conversation with the divine. In that sacred space, the veil between the everyday and the eternal thins, and you are invited into an intimate dialogue with the Creator. Yet, have you ever paused to truly consider how you approach this conversation? Do the words you choose resonate with genuine passion, or do they simply serve as a facade to impress onlookers? This is the crux of what we explore today, the pitfalls of praying with a hidden agenda. Jesus warned us against using prayer as a stage for self-promotion, cautioning us that when our prayers become a performance for others, we lose the essence of what makes them powerful. His words were not merely a call to humility, but a challenge to strip away the pretense that often clouds our most sacred moments. As you prepare to embark on this journey of discovery, envision your prayer life as a bridge connecting you directly to God, a connection that must be pure, unencumbered by vanity or empty repetition. Picture yourself in a moment of solitude, far removed from the eyes of the world. In this space, there is no need for eloquent speeches or grand gestures. There is only you, stripped of all pretenses, ready to speak your heart's truth. It is here that the real magic of prayer unfolds, a dialogue that transcends words, tapping into the deep reservoir of trust and vulnerability. The journey you are about to undertake is not simply about learning the right words to say, but about cultivating an authentic relationship with the divine. It is an invitation to dive deep into the heart of what prayer is meant to be, a heartfelt communion that nourishes your spirit and transforms your life. In our modern age, where appearances often overshadow authenticity, the act of prayer can easily be reduced to a mere routine, void of the depth it once held. Yet, the call remains timeless. To break free from the chains of hypocrisy and the trap of vain repetition. When we pray merely to be seen or heard by others, we dilute the profound connection that prayer is designed to foster. Instead, we must return to a state of sincerity, where every word is a genuine expression of our inner selves, and every pause is a moment of reflective communion with God. As you listen, reflect on the significance of this call to authenticity. Consider the power that lies in speaking to God with unguarded honesty, in offering up your hopes, fears, and dreams without the need for validation from the world. Today, we delve into the mistakes that can quietly erode this sacred connection. Mistakes that, if left unchecked, can turn prayer into an empty performance rather than a transformative dialogue. The journey into understanding how to pray the right way begins by exploring the inner landscape of our hearts, where genuine communication with God takes place. In this space, we come face to face with the essence of our spirituality, stripped of external pressures and the need for approval. It is here that we learn to distinguish between prayer as a performance and prayer as an authentic expression of our inner selves. When we examine the pitfalls of hypocrisy and vain repetition, we uncover lessons that not only reshape our prayer life, but also transform our relationship with the divine. Hypocrisy in prayer emerges when our words become a tool for self-aggrandizement rather than a sincere plea for connection. Imagine standing in a place where every move is scrutinized, every word evaluated. In such a setting, your prayer may begin to serve a dual purpose: to communicate with God and to impress the onlookers. This duality is dangerous because it forces you to wear a mask, an image of piety that is more about conforming to societal expectations than about a real connection with God. When we pray to be seen as righteous, the focus shifts from our spiritual needs to our desire for external validation. In this distorted form of prayer, the true essence is lost, and what remains is a hollow recital of words devoid of the raw honesty that God longs to hear. Consider the timeless example of those who pray publicly in synagogues or on street corners. Their prayers, though eloquent and filled with carefully chosen words, become spectacles for the audience. They project an image of devoutness that, while impressive on the surface, often fails to resonate with genuine spiritual depth. This performative aspect of prayer erects a barrier between the individual and the divine, as the heart of the matter is compromised by the need to maintain appearances. When the eyes of others dictate the manner in which we approach prayer, we inadvertently transform a sacred act into an exhibition of our own vanity. The remedy for this lies in cultivating a prayer life that is intimate and private, a space where vulnerability is not a liability, but a strength. It is in these moments of solitude that we are able to shed the layers of pretense and speak to God with unguarded honesty. The words we choose in such private moments carry a different weight. They are not crafted for an audience, but are the pure expressions of our innermost thoughts and feelings. In these sacred encounters, we learn that the most powerful prayer is one that is born from a place of sincerity, where every word is a testament to our trust and faith in God. Equally significant is the challenge of avoiding vain repetition, a trap that leads many into the misconception that the power of prayer is in the quantity of words rather than the quality of their meaning. The notion that repeating the same phrases over and over can somehow compel a response from God is a fallacy that undermines the very purpose of prayer. When words become mechanical, stripped of their heartfelt intent, they lose the transformative power that comes from genuine connection. In vain repetition, the prayer devolves into a ritualistic chant, lacking the spontaneity and authenticity that make it a living conversation with God. The Bible provides a striking counterpoint to this practice. In the story of Elijah versus the prophets of Baal, we see that the sincerity of prayer is measured not by the length or repetition of words, but by the depth of faith behind them. Elijah's prayer, succinct yet powerful, demonstrated an unwavering trust in God's ability to act, contrasting sharply with the long, repetitive invocations of the false prophets. This biblical account reminds us that God does not require an endless litany of words to be heard. Rather, He desires the purity of a heartfelt plea. It is a call to break free from the cycle of empty repetition and to embrace prayer as a dynamic and evolving dialogue. Moreover, the act of sincere prayer is not merely about avoiding common mistakes. It is also about fostering an environment in which our relationship with God can thrive. When we come before God with genuine humility, we open ourselves to a transformative experience that reshapes our understanding of life's challenges. In moments of despair, frustration, or uncertainty, a prayer rooted in authenticity can serve as a powerful reminder of God's presence. It becomes a beacon of hope that illuminates the path forward, reinforcing the truth that we are not alone in our struggles. This is the heart of true prayer, a continuous, evolving conversation that adapts to the shifting landscape of our lives, offering comfort, guidance, and reassurance. Yet, the path to sincere prayer is not always straightforward. It requires constant self-reflection and the willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about our own motives. Are we seeking divine intervention out of genuine need, or are we caught up in the desire to appear spiritually superior? This introspection is not easy, but it is essential for cultivating a prayer life that is both effective and transformative. Each moment spent in honest reflection brings us closer to understanding our true selves and aligning our hearts with the will of God. As we continue to explore the intricacies of prayer, it is important to remember that the goal is not to perfect our technique, but to nurture a relationship with God that is built on trust, humility, and authenticity. In the quiet moments of prayer, where the world's distractions fall away, we find the space to reconnect with our inner truth. Here, every word, every pause, becomes an opportunity to affirm our faith and to embrace the power of genuine communication with the divine. In the quiet moments of dawn, as the first rays of sunlight gently caress the horizon, many find themselves drawn into the stillness of prayer. It is in these early hours that the soul reaches out to the divine, yearning for guidance and solace. Here, the true nature of prayer begins to unfold, a dialogue that transcends mere words and taps into the core of our existence. In these precious moments, the challenges of hypocrisy and the pitfalls of empty repetition reveal themselves, urging us to strive for a more authentic communion with God. As you reflect on your own experiences, consider the difference between a routine recitation and a heartfelt conversation. A prayer that is carefully orchestrated for an audience, whether seen by friends or echoed in a bustling congregation, can often become a performance, stripped of the intimacy that comes from vulnerability. In contrast, when you enter into prayer with an open heart, the act transforms from a duty into an encounter that redefines your very being. The beauty of this sacred exchange lies in its simplicity and sincerity. It is not the elaborate display of words that moves the soul, but the earnest desire to connect with a power far greater than ourselves. This journey is not without its obstacles. The temptation to repeat familiar phrases, to fall back on well-worn patterns of prayer, can be strong. After all, repetition provides comfort. It is a safety net in a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable. Yet, when words are uttered without the spark of genuine emotion, they lose their potency. Think of a musician who plays the same tune over and over, without ever allowing the melody to evolve. The music, while technically accurate, lacks the passion that makes it resonate with the listener. Similarly, when our prayers become a mechanical echo, we risk silencing the very spirit we seek to uplift. In the scriptures, there are countless stories that illustrate the transformative power of sincere prayer. One such narrative is the account of King David, whose psalms overflow with raw emotion and unfiltered honesty. David's prayers were not polished speeches crafted for public admiration. They were a mirror to his soul, reflecting his deepest fears, his moments of profound joy, and his struggles with despair. Each word was a testament to his unyielding trust in God, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. His prayers remind us that the true essence of communion with God lies in acknowledging our imperfections and embracing our vulnerability. Moreover, the story of Job further illuminates this truth. In the midst of unimaginable suffering, Job's dialogues with God were not marked by grandiose declarations, but by honest pleas and anguished cries for understanding. Despite the pain, his words bore the weight of authenticity, a quality that resonated deeply with the divine. Job's experience teaches us that genuine prayer does not necessarily yield immediate answers or relief, but it forges a bond that transcends the trials of life. It is a reminder that the act of prayer, in its purest form, is about forging a resilient connection with the One who sees beyond our flaws and hears the whispers of our hearts. As you continue to explore the art of prayer, consider the metaphor of a bridge. This bridge is not constructed of stone or steel, but of trust, faith, and sincerity. Each honest word spoken in prayer adds a plank to this bridge, strengthening the connection between your soul and the divine. Yet, if you begin to build this bridge for the purpose of impressing others, if you are more concerned with the structure's appearance than with its integrity, the bridge becomes fragile, susceptible to collapse under the weight of insincerity. It is only when every component of the bridge is laid with genuine intention that it can withstand the storms of life and serve as a reliable passage to spiritual solace. The dynamics of prayer also extend to how we handle our emotions and doubts. In moments of quiet reflection, when your thoughts are your only company, it is natural to wrestle with uncertainty. Perhaps there have been times when you questioned whether your prayers were heard, or moments when the silence that followed left you feeling abandoned. In these instances, it is crucial to remember that the divine is ever present, listening intently even when words seem insufficient. The silence itself can be a profound response, a call to trust more deeply and to seek the wisdom hidden within your own heart. Rather than filling that silence with repetitive words, allow yourself the space to be still, to reflect, and to listen for the subtle guidance that emerges from within. The practice of sincere prayer often requires a conscious effort to shed the layers of pretense that we accumulate over time. In a society that values appearances and quick fixes, it can be challenging to slow down and confront the raw truth of our inner experiences. Yet, it is in this confrontation that true transformation occurs. When you dare to strip away the expectations imposed by the world, you create a sanctuary, a sacred space where every emotion, every doubt, and every hope is laid bare before God. In this intimate setting, prayer becomes a catalyst for healing, a powerful reminder that you are seen, you are known, and you are loved unconditionally. Consider the transformative story of a person who, after years of relying on superficial prayer, finally embraced the vulnerability of honest dialogue with God. This individual, once trapped in the cycle of rote recitations, began to share the burdens of their heart in private moments of reflection. Over time, the shift was palpable. The prayers evolved from empty words to profound expressions of longing and gratitude. This change did not go unnoticed. The person felt a renewed sense of clarity and strength, a subtle yet unmistakable confirmation that their prayers were fostering a deeper, more resilient relationship with the divine. Such personal experiences underscore the truth that the power of prayer lies not in its repetition, but in its ability to transform the heart. As you contemplate these reflections, remember that the journey towards sincere prayer is ongoing. It is a path marked by continuous self-discovery, where each step brings you closer to understanding the true essence of your relationship with God. Embrace the process and allow yourself the freedom to be imperfect. In your most unguarded moments, you will find that genuine prayer becomes a source of inspiration and a wellspring of hope, a constant reminder that no matter the challenges you face, the divine is always within reach. In the quiet progression of our journey toward authentic prayer, there comes a time when the inner dialogue shifts from reflection to transformation. This transformation is not merely an evolution in words or techniques, but a profound reawakening of the soul, a rekindling of trust and intimacy with the divine. In this segment, we explore how genuine prayer can act as a catalyst for inner change, allowing us to overcome the barriers of hypocrisy and the lure of mindless repetition. Imagine a time in your life when you felt weighed down by doubts, when the world seemed too noisy for your inner voice to be heard. Imagine a time in your life when you felt weighed down by doubts, when the world seemed too noisy for your inner voice to be heard. In those moments, prayer might have appeared as just another ritual, a series of rote words recited in the hope of finding solace. But what if, instead, you allowed yourself to open up completely, to let your raw emotions flow and to confront the vulnerabilities hidden behind your polished exterior? In doing so, you create an opportunity to rebuild your spiritual self from the ground up, brick by brick, with each sincere word acting as a cornerstone of faith. This process often begins with an honest examination of our own motives. When we strip away the layers of pretense, we are left with a simple truth. We seek connection, healing, and understanding. It is in this state of vulnerability that prayer ceases to be a performance and transforms into a dialogue that is both raw and transformative. The courage to face our inner turmoil, to admit our weaknesses, and to surrender our pride paves the way for a prayer life that is as honest as it is powerful. Consider the metaphor of a gardener tending to a neglected plot of land. At first, the soil may appear barren and unyielding, much like the hardened hearts that have long suppressed genuine communication with God. But with careful cultivation, removing weeds of doubt and enriching the earth with water and sunlight, new growth begins to emerge. Each act of sincere prayer is akin to turning the soil, nurturing the seeds of faith, and watching as they sprout into vibrant expressions of hope. Over time, the garden flourishes, a testament to the enduring power of transformation when nurtured with honest effort. Biblical figures provide compelling illustrations of this process. Take the example of David, whose life was marked by moments of triumph and deep despair alike. In his Psalms, David does not hide behind a veneer of false righteousness. Instead, he reveals his innermost thoughts, from unbridled joy to heart-wrenching sorrow. His prayers were a mirror, reflecting his most intimate struggles, yet they also served as a bridge to the divine. Through his honest and unabashed dialogue with God, David experienced moments of profound clarity and redemption, reminding us that transformation begins when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable. Similarly, the story of the prodigal son offers a timeless lesson in the redemptive power of sincere prayer. After wandering far from the comforting embrace of home, the wayward son reaches a point of utter despair. In his broken state, he returns, not with grand declarations of intent, but with a humble plea for forgiveness, a prayer that is as unrefined as it is heartfelt. His genuine repentance, spoken in the language of a wounded heart, opens the door to reconciliation and renewal. This narrative is a vivid reminder that true transformation arises when we relinquish the need to impress or control, instead embracing the uncertainty of life with an open heart. Yet, the path to such genuine prayer is rarely smooth. There are moments when old habits resurface, when the temptation to fall back on rehearsed words or to seek approval through performative gestures becomes overwhelming. In these instances, it is essential to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, am I reaching out to God to express my true self, or am I simply echoing what I think is expected of me? This question, while deceptively simple, carries immense weight. It challenges us to continually assess the authenticity of our inner dialogue, to discard any words that have lost their meaning, and to embrace the dynamic, evolving nature of our relationship with the divine. As you navigate these challenges, consider the role of mindfulness in prayer. Mindfulness invites us to be fully present, to engage with each moment without distraction. In the stillness of a quiet room, or even amidst the chaos of daily life, mindfulness transforms prayer from a mere utterance into a conscious act of connection. It requires us to slow down, to listen intently, and to recognize that every pause holds the potential for insight. This practice not only enhances the quality of our prayer, but also deepens our understanding of ourselves. By remaining present, we become more attuned to the subtle shifts in our emotions, more aware of the patterns that have led us away from genuine communication, and more capable of cultivating a prayer life that is both rich and restorative. Moreover, the transformation brought about by sincere prayer extends beyond our individual relationship with God. It ripples outward, influencing how we interact with the world around us. When our hearts are nurtured by authentic dialogue with the divine, we begin to see others with new eyes. Compassion grows where judgment once prevailed, and empathy replaces indifference. In this way, prayer becomes not just a personal sanctuary, but a source of strength and inspiration that can uplift entire communities. The genuine transformation of the self is a powerful testament to the transformative potential of sincere prayer, a force that, when fully embraced, can heal not only individual souls, but also the collective spirit of humanity. In these moments of transformation, remember that change is a journey, not a destination. Each prayer, each honest conversation with God is a step forward, a gradual, steady movement toward a deeper, more resilient faith. There will be days when the words flow effortlessly, and others when silence speaks louder than any utterance could. Yet, in both, there lies the promise of growth, of healing, and of a renewed connection that transcends the superficial trappings of religious performance. As you continue on this path, let the lessons of vulnerability, mindfulness, and genuine expression guide you. Embrace the imperfections in your journey, for they are the very threads that weave the tapestry of a life transformed by sincere prayer. In the end, it is not the quantity of words that defines the depth of our connection, but the unwavering commitment to speak from the heart, a commitment that ultimately bridges the gap between the temporal and the eternal. As our journey toward genuine prayer reaches its crescendo, we stand at the threshold of a deeper understanding, a moment where every lesson learned, every moment of vulnerability, converges into an ever-evolving dialogue with the divine. Here, in this final reflection, we explore the transformative power of surrender, forgiveness, and trust, elements that elevate prayer from a mere recitation of words to a living, breathing relationship with God. Imagine a moment of stillness where time seems to pause, and you are left alone with your thoughts and the quiet hum of your heartbeat. In this space, the barriers between your innermost self and the divine begin to dissolve. Surrender is not about giving up, but about releasing the illusion of control. It is the act of stepping back from the frantic pace of life and allowing yourself to be carried by a current that is far more powerful than your own desires. When you surrender, you acknowledge that the plans you meticulously craft cannot match the intricate wisdom of God. It is a humbling recognition that there is a grand design beyond your understanding, one that invites you to trust in a higher power, even in the midst of uncertainty. This trust is often tested in the furnace of life's trials. There are times when the weight of responsibility and the sting of disappointment can make you question the very nature of prayer. It is in these moments that forgiveness plays a pivotal role. Forgiveness, both of yourself and others, is a liberating force that unshackles the heart from the chains of past grievances. When you pray, forgiveness becomes the gentle balm that heals old wounds and opens the door to renewed intimacy with God. It is not merely a ritualistic utterance, but a conscious decision to let go of the burdens that keep you from fully embracing the present moment. Into the realm of prayer, forgiveness is a dialogue of grace. It invites you to reflect on your own imperfections, to see them not as failures, but as opportunities for growth. When you ask for forgiveness, you are not just seeking absolution. You are reaffirming your commitment to a path of transformation. This act of grace extends outward as well, teaching you to forgive those who have wronged you. As you release bitterness, you find that the space once occupied by resentment is replaced by compassion, a powerful testament to the healing nature of sincere prayer. Furthermore, true prayer involves a profound sense of trust, a trust that transcends the tangible and reaches into the realm of the mysterious and the miraculous. Trusting God means believing that every experience, every challenge, and every moment of joy is intricately woven into the tapestry of your life. It is the courage to say, "I do not have all the answers, but I trust in your plan," even when the path ahead is shrouded in uncertainty. This trust is not passive. It is an active engagement with life, an ongoing dialogue where you commit to walking hand in hand with the divine through every twist and turn. Consider the imagery of a river flowing inexorably toward the sea. The river does not question its course. It simply follows the path laid out before it, surrendering to the natural flow of life. In much the same way, when you embrace trust in your prayers, you allow yourself to be carried forward by a current of faith that can overcome the turbulence of doubt and fear. Each prayer becomes a step along this river, a moment of affirmation that you are exactly where you need to be, even when the destination remains unseen. As you journey deeper into the practice of sincere prayer, you may begin to notice subtle changes within yourself. The hurried cadence of everyday life softens, replaced by a mindful awareness that permeates every interaction. You learn to recognize that prayer is not confined to a specific time or place. It is an ever-present conversation with the divine that continues throughout your day. Whether you find solace in the quiet solitude of early morning or in the reflective pause between tasks, prayer becomes the gentle reminder that you are never alone. In these moments, you may also find that the language of your heart begins to change. The words that once felt rehearsed and detached now emerge with a renewed authenticity, a language that speaks not just of needs and desires, but of deep gratitude and awe. This evolution in language reflects an inner transformation, the shift from a focus on the superficial to a recognition of the profound mysteries that lie at the heart of existence. In embracing this shift, you are invited to view every experience as an opportunity to deepen your connection with the divine, to see even the most mundane moments as part of a larger sacred narrative. Moreover, this renewed approach to prayer carries with it the promise of renewal in every aspect of life. As your relationship with God grows stronger, you begin to see its effects ripple outward, influencing how you relate to others and to the world around you. Empathy replaces judgment, patience supplants haste, and a quiet confidence emerges. A confidence rooted not in the fleeting applause of the world, but in the enduring embrace of the divine. Your actions, imbued with the sincerity of your prayer, become a living testimony to the transformative power of faith. In every act of kindness, in every moment of forgiveness, you demonstrate that true power lies in the gentle, steadfast force of love. In the final analysis, sincere prayer is a journey without a fixed endpoint. It is a dynamic and evolving conversation that adapts to the rhythms of life, a continual process of growth and self-discovery. Every prayer, every moment of genuine dialogue with God is a step further along this uncharted path, a path that, despite its uncertainties, leads to a profound sense of peace and fulfillment. As you continue to walk this path, let each prayer be a reminder of your commitment to live authentically, to embrace vulnerability, and to trust in the mystery of life. In closing, remember that the true power of prayer lies not in the eloquence of the words, but in the sincerity of the heart that utters them. Surrender your doubts, forgive without hesitation, and trust implicitly in the divine plan. With each prayer, you build a bridge to a deeper understanding, a connection that not only transforms your own life, but has the potential to touch the lives of others. May your journey in prayer be a constant source of inspiration, a guiding light that leads you through the challenges of life and into the boundless realms of divine grace.